There were times I was lost, dark had fear, couldn't see through the rain. In the end it was clear, hit the fan. I was more than one man who was there to lend a hand. Together we'd stand, always had my back, my guardian soldier. Team pulled together, united we conquer. Blessed is he who in the name of charity carry me when I'm weak straight through the valley of darkness. Pitch blackness, the heartless, regardless, fear couldn't part us. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. We ride, ride. I am my brother's keeper. Keep on holding strong. United we stand, divided we fall. Together we belong. I am my brother's keeper. Keep on holding strong. United we stand, divided we fall. Together we belong. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper.
Welcome back, Moto fans. We have got another great show lined up for you today for this episode of Between the Rounds. Before we get into it, just want to give a shout out to our partners for this episode: Wonthaggi Motorcycles and Power Equipment, Fastline Suspension, Wolf Building Compliance, and the September sponsor of our motocross and supercross wall calendars, Southeast Pools. This episode's going to be a bit like a large pizza with all the toppings. There's currently so much happening in the Aussie Moto scene. So, we're going to take a quick look back at round 7 and 8 of the ProMX Championship, maybe chat a bit about the AMA Motocross Championship and the Aussie riders that went over to race the last few rounds. We'll probably cover some of the recent developments in the Aussie paddock, the upcoming Motocross of Nations, and take a look ahead at the pointy jump season here in Australia, which long-time listeners of the show will probably know is my absolute favourite time of the year because I love Supercross. So joining me to delve into all these juicy topics, back once again, is Righto Moto's Steve Hall. Welcome back, Steve.
Pete, thanks for having me back, hey? Pizza, you're talking about pizza. I love pizzas, man. What's your favourite, what's your go-to, man?
My go-to? I do love the house special here, which is basically a Supreme. Our local joint does. It's pretty awesome. But beyond that, man, I'm easy. Margarita, Hawaiian, meat lovers. I actually had pizza for dinner tonight.
Nice one, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm pretty easy pleased, but yeah, I do love a margarita, man.
Yeah,
pretty simple stuff. Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
A really good margarita takes a fair bit of beating, I reckon.
I definitely agree. I've got very simple tastes, and I'll always leave the margarita. If I've got a couple of different flavors, I'll leave the margarita to last because it's my favorite. That's a habit with when I eat. I always leave my favorite bit to the end.
I do that too, man. Yeah. So meat and veg, you'll just eat all the veggies first and then eat the meat at the end. That's what I've done that ever since I was a kid. Get the veggies out of the way, and then eat the meat at the end. Yeah.
100%, dude. But I love veggies as well. So
you do. Yes, I mean I do too. But yeah, still.
Yeah.
If you're talking roast pumpkin or something like that, man, that's probably nearly better than the meat. Like that's some real good roast veggies, man. But if you're talking broccoli, man, then it's getting eaten first out of the way. So,
I love it. Well, we're not even 3 minutes in, and we've already gone sidetracked. But
yeah, sorry, man. That's that I'm to blame for that.
All good, dude. So, what's been happening since the ProMX wound up when I last saw you?
What's been happening for me, man? Yeah, we're moving house in a month. We've bought a house and everything, and so it's just been pretty crazy here as far as all that side of things. So I've been pretty slack on my own media content, to be honest. But a lot going on at home. So and then we've got Soupy coming up. So looking forward to that. And that's it, man. Nothing too exciting happening here, really. Yeah, I've just been busy, man.
Yeah. Moving house is never pleasant. It's always good when it's all done, but once it's done, you can look back and just go, thank Christ, that's over.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. No, it's one of the worst jobs ever, but yeah, we'll be very glad when we're in our new place. That's for sure. It'll be very cool.
And all your mates seem to disappear over that period as well.
You know who the real good mates are, man. When you're moving, you know who the tight group is. So
No,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely. Well, I've just come off 12 events in 13 weekends, so I had my first day off in 6 weeks last Sunday, and yeah, it's been nice. Everything's sort of chilled down a bit. Still got some work to do and stuff to catch up on before Supercross. We've got the VIX presentation night this weekend as well. And then I've got a couple of events before Supercross starts, but it's been a lot more chill. It's been good, man. I've enjoyed getting a little bit of a break.
What did that day off look like, Pete? Like, what are we doing? Are you like watching movies? Is like just stuck to the couch, or like what did you do?
To be honest, man, I actually did stuff around the house, and because that's all the shit I've been neglecting. So
So you got some jobs done.
yeah, there was more.
Sometimes that's cool though, man, isn't it? Just when you've been busy and you just get to tinker around, just fixing a bit of shit around your own house and that sort of thing, like a few jobs in the garden and that sort of thing. Sometimes I don't actually mind that sometimes.
I actually enjoyed it. I'll admit,
Yeah.
I had a nice day, and it felt, because it was a change of scenery. It just it felt nice and relaxing, and again, there's no deadline for anything, so it was just cruising
You
around.
just do as much or as little as you want and cruise around and talk to the dog and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't mind days like that. They don't happen too often, man, but I don't mind those days. Yeah.
Yeah, go have a cuppa, look at my phone for 20 minutes, and then get back out there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right. Well, since we haven't done a show since the end of the ProMX, we'll start off just recapping a bit of the season and just Toowoomba and QMP, I guess. So, Toowoomba was a big change in the championship with Jed Beaton going out after Canberra with a between the rounds practice crash. But what were your sort of thoughts at Toowoomba and the way that all shaped up?
Dude, going into Toowoomba, I was just like I was just deflated about the whole damn thing, after what happened with Jed.
Yep.
It took the wind out of it for me. But then by the end of Toowoomba and some good racing and it was a good Saturday was awful, Sunday was pretty cool, So and then it was just sort of like, as we do, it's like, okay, this is the state of play now. On we go, back into it. And obviously MX2 got wrapped up. Brody wrapped up at Toowoomba. And so that was done, but we still had, another 3 champions going into the last round. And, NATO managed to make things a little interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
For the last round, it was a long shot, but it was still sort of possible. The others had big gaps, but Toowoomba though, that's an amazing track. The first time I had been there. That is an amazing track, and I think they did an amazing job of working with the terrible weather.
Yes,
like, that was a good track on Sunday.
For what we had,
rained. Was it like it rained for like 12 hours or something? It was super super wet on the Saturday, and how that track turned out on Sunday was amazing, and there was some good racing, and it was really enjoyable. So
yeah, I spoke to Cody O'Lone, who's a Queensland local up there, on Friday about the rain forecast, and he goes, no, it'll come good. He goes, they're really good out there, and I was super skeptical when it started hammering down on Saturday, but I think because, in his words, because it's on a hill and the way they seal it tends to hold up pretty good, and apparently it's happened a few times. But for what you said about the wind coming out of your sails before Toowoomba, see, I kind of felt like that after Toowoomba.
Okay.
I wasn't sure, and I was kind of hoping that NATO would step up and something would happen, to keep that excitement in. So I was still sort of hopeful, but, Webby did what he had to do. And so that definitely sort of killed that class for me for the excitement. I thought it was cool, like Wilson Todd getting on the box. That was
cool.
Yep, that was really good there. The return of Tanti, that was cool. For me, one of the things that I struggled with that weekend that sort of had me on a bit of a downer, I love Toowoomba. I love the racing there. I love the layout. But it was like that mud, the red mud and the super bright sun made it a real tough day on the camera. And it made, with the riders completely covered in mud, head to toe, wheels all the same colour, bikes all the same colour.
Yeah.
That took a bit of the joy out of it for me as well. But no, there was still some good positives out of that. Jet Alsop's first overall win was You
Yeah,
know?
that was really cool. Yeah,
Yep,
really cool and really well deserved. He'd been
100%.
building towards that. It's one that, yeah, it was. I wasn't surprised, but I was just excited for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I wasn't sure he was going to get there this season, and I'm stoked he did. You know, I think
yeah.
he's been sort of knocking on the door, but whether he
Mm.
could make it happen, I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was super cool. That was yeah, maybe my favorite thing out of Toowoomba, to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
that
the other thing I had noted down for Toowoomba was I think we saw the rise of like the next age of MXW riders, like Maddie Simpson. She did great there last year. She rode really good. Mia Tung, another Queensland local, she got a third in one of the motos.
Yep.
I think ended up fifth overall. And Emily Lambert from South Australia
Yep.
in that moto when she got up front and then battled with Charlie Cannon, and Charlie passed her and Emily passed her back. I
She
was
passed
like,
it back. Yeah.
I'm like, this is cool because we haven't seen that for
Yeah, yeah.
in
We haven't
Charlie's
seen any
Cannon's reign.
we haven't seen any sort of new ones step up. You
No,
know, it's been that same sort of you know, obviously Charlie at the front, and then you know, Taylor and Taylor, you know,
yeah,
rounding out the podium. Maddie Simpson's been coming on and doing really well, and we've kind of had that. And then obviously, you know, previous years we've had you know, Emma and
Maddie
the other
Healy, Maddie Brown.
Maddie Healy, Maddie Brown, those sort of things. It's, you know, and they're sort of you know, a couple of them retired or semi-retired and that sort of thing. And Maddie Healy doing a bit more off-road and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's good to see some more of the more of the girls that are yeah, showing the pace, and it's good, man. I love the MXW. I reckon it's cool. I reckon it's really good racing, man. So it's cool. I'm all for it. I'm a girl dad, man. I got a daughter and she just trail rides, but I just think it's really cool to see the girls racing. So
Yeah,
big
likewise.
supporter of
I won't sort of go into it too deep, but there is a rider who has promised to do ProMX next year in the MXW class that I think may rival Charlie Cannon.
Geez, okay.
Yep.
I don't know about that one. You got I've heard lots of things over, you know, I've heard lots of things, but yeah.
She's a multi-time off-road world champion. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
It's not my news to break, but yeah, I'll just throw that out there, which might break that a little bit later in the show. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it definitely could be just another element to make this class, the racing in this class, even better.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. That does limit the possibilities then with what you said. So
Yes, yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So no, anyway, all right. Moving on to QMP, one of my favourite tracks. Of course, we had racing there over 2 days, 7 classes, which is a lot, and I'll ask you about your thoughts on that. Yeah, we had the 2 classes of vets, the 65s, MXW, and then obviously MX1, MX2, MX3. What do you think about the format of that weekend and the schedule and the 2 days?
I think I'm cool with the 2 days. I like the 2 days.
Agreed.
I think the format could be tweaked though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah.
I've got some thoughts on this, but in what way?
We probably need a little bit more Saturday action.
Yep.
I haven't put enough thought into it, Pete, to say you know, shift this to here, whatever. But I think you need a little bit more meat in the Saturday.
Yeah, yep. One thing that I think a talking point from the weekend, there was a few complaints from Urive, I know Kyle Webster, to the steward about the track on Saturday and even on Sunday, about it not being ripped and deep enough and sort of prepped for a pro spec track. I think the general consensus is that's because of the 65s and the vets racing there. I don't know if that's was actually by design or it's just the way it turned out to be. But in terms of having so many classes at one track over the weekend, and then you've obviously got the high level pros, and they're on a different level. Like I think that sort of gets forgotten a little bit or overlooked sometimes because we've seen it before. You know, when the 65s are racing, that the tracks aren't ripped. We had it at Maitland last year. on the Saturday, so the tracks don't end up forming up the same way as they would if those 65s weren't there. So I guess what I would like to see, because at QMP, the 65s do one race on Saturday, one race on Sunday. The girls do one race on Saturday, one race on Sunday, and the vets do two races on Saturday. I'd like to see the vets and the 65s finished on Saturday. So they have both their races. Then it's done. Then they get to race on a pro level track with maybe a slightly less than pro level prep, which is obviously going to suit all of them, which is great. The women can still do one race on Saturday and one race on Sunday. That works out fine. But it takes a lot of the pressure, I guess, off the pros to have to try race on a track that's not necessarily prepped to their standards. They can do a practice on Saturday, which would be cool. Maybe a qualifying, the MX3 thing I think was cool, where they qualify on Saturday and then have the non-qualifiers race at the end of the day. That's cool. But then on Sunday, it's just all the pro classes. And then they can rip it as deep as they want. They can water it as much as they want. And it's just not an issue anymore. So that's, I guess, the small change that I would like to see there, and I think it'd be well received.
Just one thing I'm thinking as you're talking there, like I'm definitely no expert on track prep, but wouldn't you prep though start earlier than that? Like if you had a mind to how that track was going to be for the weekend, the actual prep would start, midweek, wouldn't it? Really, to that would have a bigger. Wouldn't that early prep have a bigger effect on how it turns out in the end than just ripping it on Saturday night?
I think it's more about, with the lead-up prep, getting the moisture in to the dirt early and getting it in and even and well spread. So in terms of how the track forms up, I think that can be sort of left to the last minute. They're still going to have to rip it early, get water into it, turn it over, and do all that sort of stuff in the lead-up. But then, for the Saturday, you don't have to rip it as deep the night before or the day before for the Saturday, or they could even, rip it and then roll it in for the Saturday. It's still going to form up good. And then you've got your moisture down low. So when Saturday night comes, the Saturday events are finished, they can just rip it and it's ready to go, basically. Rip it, water it, and she's done. It's, and I think that's sort of, it shaped up pretty good on Sunday. But, Yariv was complaining, Kyle was complaining, Luke Clout was complaining. And it's a case of, all right, are they just whinging? Or do they have a legitimate case? And I think if you look at some of the other tracks that we raced where we didn't have the 65 classes, I'd say, yes, the tracks did shape up differently.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a case.
I'm in two minds about it, Pete. Yeah. Part of me is like, these old boys and these kids need to suck it up.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Part of me is thinking that, just like, if you're going to race the pro weekend, you're going to race the pro track. I think that's honestly where I lean to, man.
Yep.
To be honest, I lean on that side. Like if you're putting the boots on, and easy for me to say because I couldn't do it, but if you're putting the boots on to race that pro weekend, you're going to race the pro track. I think that would be where my opinion leans, man. So.
But I guess when you've got the elevation at somewhere like QMP, I don't know if you noticed, like on Sunday morning, when the 65s did their second race on Sunday and the track was prepped a little bit harder, like some of them were struggling to get up those hills. They were jumping that step up, the big uphill step up on the Saturday. Mate, they weren't even getting airborne on Sunday. It was, I'm not joking. They were struggling to get through there. So, and yet the pros make it look easy. And that's where you start to see the difference in the bike size, the skill and the experience. So I don't know, man. I love I've sort of come around on having the 65s and 85s.
Yeah, I like it
at the events, but I reckon maybe they would be a really good feature to have on the 2-dayers on the Saturday.
Yeah. I can see that, and then also, I'm also always on the side of mini dads too. And I can see like. There's more broken bikes, and that sort of thing. More work for mini dads if the track is pro spec for little bikes. But
And you want them to have an awesome experience, to have awesome racing, not struggle to get around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, isn't it? You got me toing and froing a bit with the thinking about it, Pete. So
I've been toing and froing with it, just thinking about it in the lead up to the podcast. So my opinion's changed about 3 or 4 times. I don't look. Put it this way: I think the way they do it is okay.
Yeah.
I reckon it might be better if they have the 65s and vets finished on Saturday, though.
Yeah.
You know,
only thing is, like I said at the start about more meat in the Saturday. Like on the Saturday, like the vets and the kids are cool, but I was really looking forward to seeing the WMX race.
Yes.
Seeing pros out there. I was really looking forward to that on the Saturday. So it's an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you can always, if you want some excitement, maybe at the end of the day that the MX1 guys come out and they do, a 2 sprint format.
Oh, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm all for stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mix it up. Get the big boys out there on Saturday for a bit or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I love all those ideas. Yeah,
because we did finish early, so on Saturday too.
It finishes early, and it just kind of feels. It almost feels like this isn't kind of a 2-day event; it's kind of a day and a half. Yeah.
And I mean, from the promoter's point of view, if you had something like that you could market, you'd probably sell a few more tickets on Saturday too, or you could sell tickets on Saturday. I don't know if they even sell the tickets on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd assume it's just a weekend pass, but I'm not sure.
But
not sure we get them for free, luckily. So I'm not sure how that works, but
yeah. So obviously, the huge talking point coming out of this weekend was the 4-peat for Honda Australia. Yeah, I mean, did you see that sort of coming at the start of the season?
Not at the start of the season, no, not at all. Start of the season, man, I thought, not right at the start, but early season, I thought, obviously Kyle and Jed toss a coin, Brody and Charlie, I guess, but then I didn't see Cade Kingsford coming on like that.
Same.
Did not see that. And to be honest, before the season started, I wasn't even that sold on Kyle Woods. But after a couple of rounds, I thought it was Kai's championship.
Yep.
And he had misfortune with penalties and bike and injury penalties and injuries. Certainly cost him, but super fast at times. But yeah, it was actually the MX3 in the end. It was probably I hate saying it, but it's probably the least interesting MX3 season we've had since it started. It's because MX3 has been that crazy
volatile
class. Anything could happen.
Yep.
Just wild stuff. But it got very predictable until pretty much, through the middle of the season, got very predictable until Jed Alsop came on strong.
Yeah.
But even still, he was still a podium guy all year. He just came on strong to be to be able to win. So, yeah, I think we might have spoke about it, Pete. I think MX3, there's only 4 riders on the podium all year, I think.
Yeah, and that's not something that we've seen in the past.
Yeah. It was just wild.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there next year because the MX3 class is going to change up a lot because I know a lot of those guys have aged out now.
Yeah.
So, I think that's...
Cade, Kai, and Jet have all aged out. Is that right?
I haven't checked, so I don't know 100% on that, but I think so.
I think so. Yeah. Same. I haven't checked. I'm just recalling conversations that that was likely to be the case. But but it's cool, man. Like into it. Like who's next?
Yeah.
It makes it exciting, man, and it's also exciting to see what they can do.
Yeah, and it's going to make the MX2 class pretty cool next year as well.
Right. Yeah, it does make it cool,
Yep. In terms of the actual on-track action, so there was 2 things I wanted to ask you about as well. So Wilson Todd's last corner pass on Kyle Webster, I had a look at the points, so that moved Kyle from second back to third for the round. But yeah, what did you think about that? I mean, Kyle said on the podium he didn't see it coming. He said he kind of just had a bit of a brain fade.
And you can see on the broadcast, no one saw it coming.
Yep.
Like it caught Hammy off. It caught Hammy out. I think it was Hammy, or I'm pretty sure Hammy was calling, and he was like all set to call, Kyle Webster, and the next minute, what the hell? Like, Will was in front, and you didn't. It was just like, it really caught us out.
He's giving the big hoot over the finish line as well. Like,
yeah. Like I was already down at the podium.
Yep.
Waiting to get some shots. As soon as they come off the track, I heard the live announcer. I heard Trent going crazy about it, and so I knew that what had happened because of that. And then I watched it back on TV, and it was like, wow, that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think Kyle. Yeah, well, obviously Kyle had no idea that he was that close. He did not.
He lined that up, man. I think because I was standing there watching that section of the track, and I reckon he lined him up from the lap before, saw the opening,
a lap out,
and then went. He's probably not going to be suspecting it, and he made up, I reckon, 4 or 5 bike lengths on the straight, and that on that step up before they go back downhill towards the finish line. Yeah, Wilbur just absolutely pinned it from there. And I'm like, he's going to go for it.
It was cool,
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, just in terms of, I know it's not a team sport, but they're teammates. Kyle's about to win the championship. I think traditionally you would have just seen the rider let, the teammates celebrate, take the championship. I just thought it was cool. It probably, gave Wilbur, you'd imagine, maybe a 10 grand win bonus. And Kyle's just lost that.
Honestly, man, like
in a corner.
I think it's cool. It wasn't going to change the title or anything drastic. And he's been working hard.
And it was his first overall for the year,
and that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's I'm all about it. I'm all good with it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything different from Wilbur. Like, I don't think he's a rider that's going to care.
That's exactly what one of the mechanics said to me afterwards. Says he just gives no Fs.
No, and that's that's what I see in him. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
it was classic. I thought it was cool too, and very funny.
Cool.
Yeah. And the other thing was Clout's start line crash.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that mate, you couldn't make that shit up.
That's incredible, man. Like there was a guy who got it out onto socials really quick. That's like where I saw it first.
Yep.
Damn, that video. I wonder how that went. I wonder how many views that video got, because that was incredible. I've been watching dirt bikes for 40 years, man. I've never seen a bike launch that high off a straight line crash.
Well, he kind of rolled and got back to his feet and then looked around like, where's my bike?
And then it came down on his head.
Oh, jeez.
That was, like it's got to have been like 20 foot high, like 5-6 meters.
Yep.
In the air, man. That was unbelievable.
Like you, I've never seen that happen in motocross. I actually, when I was a kid, I saw that happen at the Speedway with one of the Speedway cars, where it rolled and just out of sort of, almost like nowhere.
Yeah.
It obviously hit the tyres or the suspension just right and went straight up in the air and went over the fence. And the fence is, 20 foot high, and went into the crowd.
Yeah.
And somehow, I think there was a guy that ended up with a broken leg. I don't know how it didn't kill anyone. But that's the only other time I've ever seen anything remotely like it. It was, that was just nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And for him to be relatively okay.
Yes.
As well, like, damn, and then, that was just wild, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. Yeah.
So I did hear afterwards that he had quite a lot to say about the prep of the straight, that it was very deep and that sort of contributed to it. I don't know about that. It'd be interesting to see if any of the other riders agree with that. To me, it just looked like one of those crazy, everyone's going for it, no one's letting up. Riders come together and shit happens. But I've heard since that he's going to be Supercross only moving forward. So I
Okay.
know he wasn't having a great time with Moto, but yeah, it'd be disappointing not to see him line up, I think,
Yeah.
for ProMX. But, if that's his decision,
He seems too young to do the Supercross only move.
yeah, yeah.
Like seems too young. But I guess if he locks in a specialty and
And he is good at Supercross.
he's very good at Supercross, and there's good money to be made in World Supercross, and
Maybe the US again.
and it might give him some US opportunities as well throughout the season.
Yep.
It frees him up for opportunity and that sort of thing. So yeah, he's maybe he might actually make some good money doing it that way. There's different things. There's little Supercross series all over the world that people are making a bit of money out of. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And you have to look at it like at Supercross last year and even previous years, he is pushing those international guys on his night,
yes,
on his day.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
definitely got those guys for speed on his day, or at least to battle with them. If he was to be training Supercross more or less full time and becoming a Supercross only guy, like what can he do?
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, it'll be it's just interesting, I guess. Yeah, if that is the case. But
Yeah. All right. I asked you in the prep to come up with 3 things that you really liked about the ProMX season this year and 3 things that you'd like to see change for next year. So we'll start with the 3 things that you really liked about this year's ProMX Championship.
dude, I actually struggled a bit.
You didn't like anything?
And no, because I like everything. It's easy to come up with my dislikes because there's only
A couple.
It's a short list. It's
Yep.
a short list. But likes, I loved everything. But I guess I really liked the addition of Terrelgan.
Yes.
That was my favourite round of the year.
Yep.
And I liked everything about it, man. I liked the racing that we saw there. I liked it's an excellent spectator track.
It is, yes.
So I really like the addition of Terrelgan. I am a Victorian, but Terrelgan is a damn long way from me, so it's not like I'm talking about it because it's my local or anything like that. It's far from it. I could nearly get to Gilman quicker than Terrelgan, so it's not my local. I just thought that another thing that I really liked, I just thought the general running of the event, the broadcast team, the team of officials, all that sort of thing. I just thought it was all very professional and just bloody good job to all. That's a bit of a general sort of a liked. I thought, hats off to everyone involved with running the show.
Yes, yep.
I thought that was really good. And then I guess the other thing that I really liked, and it rolls into a dislike as well, is just that I just loved that the battle that we enjoyed with Jed and Kyle and the way the level that they brought to our MX1 class that we've spoken about. That is probably a level that we've never seen before.
Yep.
Maybe Dean, but we'd really never seen 2 people at that level just going at it out the front.
Yeah. And adversely,
that was just amazing.
Adversely, I think it also brought their individual levels up, those battles as well.
Yeah.
Like I would argue that maybe neither of them have ever ridden as well as they did this year.
No, I don't reckon. Yeah, I think we've spoken about it that maybe a 23 Dean when he had a couple of rounds where it was just like out of sight, just ridiculous, ridiculous domination. But other than that, I don't think we've seen anything like what those 2 were doing this year. So that was really cool until it wasn't. So yeah, man. So that's my 3. So there's nothing too sort of jumping off the page about it there, but it's but I guess that's just like I said, I liked everything. I'm overall very positive about the series. So
well, it overlaps a little bit with my list, I guess. I really liked the tighter calendar this year, just having a little bit more condensed and not like those massive. I think last year we had one 8-week break or 7-week break. mid-season between the rounds. We didn't have that this year. We had a tighter calendar, which I think was due to the MXGP, which is now going to be a fixture in Australia. So I really like that. I thought that was cool. I guess where it overlaps with your Traralgon sentiments, I liked all the tracks this year. I would love to see any of those tracks again next year. I thought they all produced pretty good racing. They all formed up pretty good, and that the tracks all hosted the events well. Again, sort of overlaps with one of your comments. I think over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, as an event, like as a season, as a championship, it's improved every year over the last 3 or 4 years. Like you said, just the way they're set up, the pit setup, the schedules, the TV schedule. It just keeps getting better, I think, every year, which is cool. The commentating, all the coverage of the events. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And the last thing I had noted, I actually had 4 things, but one thing which was new to the ProMX this year was the integration of the Oceania Women's Cup. I thought that was really awesome to have with the Wonthaggi round 1 round of the ProMX.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally agree with that. Yeah, that if I'd have thought of that, it would have been on my list too, Pete. But yeah, that seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
It does.
Wonthaggi, yeah. But that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love that, and
it brings that
yeah,
that international flavour and standard, I think, to our own domestic championship, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool, man. And I especially enjoyed it because I was specifically sort of covering the women that weekend. So that was that and it was really cool, man. Just I was talking to dads from all over the world, talking to dads from America, talking to mums and dads from Africa. That was amazing. And the guys from New Zealand, the mums and dads from New Zealand, and obviously the riders from all these places. I remember here's a little interesting thing, man. International flavour. I was talking to when the girls were doing all the autograph signing at lunchtime at Wonthaggi, and I got talking to one of the African girls' dads, and I can't remember which country because there was 5 different countries, but I think it was Tanzania where he was from. And he was talking about how they went to the wildlife park on Phillip Island.
Oh, yep.
And how cool it was, and their kangaroos and all this and that. And I'm laughing. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy that you're from Africa, man, which is like
they got the coolest animals,
the coolest wildlife. Like you've got the wildlife.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but we see them all the time. He goes, we're on the way to, from there. I think they lived on a farm. On the way from the farm to the track, and they'll see elephants, and sometimes they'll see lions on the way to go riding. So it was just like, this is, it's just amazing. That was amazing. To me, just talking to those people. So yeah, international flavour for sure, man. Yeah. So
that is very, very cool, and that's a cool story. It's I remember when my cousin came over from Germany a couple of years ago, and he was blown away, like that you're dodging kangaroos at night, just driving up the road, because for him that was like such a massive novelty, and to this perception that there's like wild animals just roaming the suburbs. It's like, but Africa's exactly the same. They're just, they really are wild animals over there, though. I'd give me a kangaroo any day of the week.
I'll take a roo over an elephant or a lion.
Or a rhino,
sure. Yep. Or just about anything over there. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep,
there's not much, there's unless if you stay out of the water, there's nothing here that wants to eat you.
Yep. Yeah. All right. 3 things that you would change for next year.
Dude, so we've both got the same number one thing. So let's just tear the Band-Aid off of the Wi-Fi issues. Which is just it's shit house, man.
Especially at the final round, that was tough. To not be able to have live updates from the final round, and even like I was talking to a couple of the guys that did have the Starlink out there, and apparently even the Starlink was shit. So that's
a real struggle, man. And obviously we're media, and so it means extra to us, but it's the promotion of the sport, and it's not even the guys in the media tent. It's every girlfriend, sister, mum and dad,
That posts,
grandparents
updates.
that are in the crowd. Every single person in the crowd is taking videos and photos and posting about the event on their socials. You haven't got like us, 20 odd media guys there. You've got an entire place full of people that are doing a little bit of media, and none of this stuff's getting out, like the people you can't even follow CompuTime to see what you don't even know what's going on with results,
Qualifying,
that sort of thing. If you're out the back taking photos, or if you're just a spectator out there, a spectator that's paid their ticket and you're out the back watching from a different spot and you can't see the finish line, you don't know what's going on.
Yep.
And you've got you can pick up certain amount from the live commentary, but like Trent can't like give you the list of results if so yeah, it is.
Okay. On that topic then, so would you prefer the last round be moved or swapped around to a different track, or maybe it remains at QMP but they somehow fix the internet issues?
Nah, I'd change it from QMP.
Yep. Do it somewhere else.
Yeah. Like the easy fix in my mind, and I haven't thought it through that much, but the easy fix is to swap it with Toowoomba.
Yep.
Where we've got good Wi-Fi,
good spectator track.
All the youngsters well, just not youngsters, younger than me, that care about an after party. They've got the town right there. Plenty of spots where that could happen. Maybe that's sort of the easy fix.
Yep.
Because like QMP's cool. It's just the Wi-Fi is a disaster, and especially for the final round. So that's definitely the thing, isn't it? And it also just for for things that we want to do, we can't, like we've spoken about. If we post something on the day, people are interested. If you post it the next day, no one cares. If you got to wait till Monday, when you're off the plane and off the plane and home and all that, like the moment's lost. It's too late.
We've said it before, like on the day, if you've got like any other race, you've got posts coming out throughout the day, like trickling out over the course of the day. Like you said, all those mechanics and family members, fans. That's cool. But what tends to happen is then everyone hangs on to that because no one can post on the day. So on Monday morning, it's just
it all comes
saturated.
Out on Monday.
Yep,
saturation, and it's all, the moment's over. It's too late. Like
everyone knows the results. Yeah, everyone knows everything that's happened. So
and even like if you think about teams, like I'm sure that like the teams, the pro teams, they get their spotters out around the track. Headsets and the deal. Those guys can't see CompuTime.
Yep.
They need that.
Yes. Yep.
They need that. So I'm sure that they'll have Starlink at the trucks and so forth. But if you got a spot around the backside of the track or whatever, like I don't know how well Starlink works, but it's all up. Yeah, and honestly, man, Starlink's it's not that expensive, man.
I think we need to get our own Starlink next year, man.
Like I've looked at it. I've looked at how much it is, and it's very affordable. It's affordable for a person to get it.
Yeah.
Within if you're going to if you really need it. But dude, like for a series to have it, that's definitely our biggest gripe, man. Hey.
What else you got?
My other gripes.
Doesn't have to be a gripe, but what would you like to see different
things
for next year?
Like, a long time one of mine, man, is our podium's got to be a podium. Riders want to get on the box, but then they're standing on the ground when they win. We need something that elevates these guys up for their podium interviews.
I like that. Yep.
So I'd love to see them on the back of a truck, the whole deal. But if it's not that, there needs to be a little some sort of a structure. Yep. I'm sure that's not too difficult. That with all the other structures that get built, you know, the big frames around the finish line and the big frame around where we do the podium and all that sort of thing, to have a little structure that gets people a few feet off the ground. I think it's something that's always kind of annoyed me a little bit, you know. I think that's important. And I know we were speaking earlier on that photography wise, it's helpful as well. So
yeah. Yeah, well,
so
you
that's
get
one, man.
you get the three riders standing shoulder to shoulder as opposed to, 2 meters apart.
Yeah,
Holding up.
yeah.
So when you're standing
I
3
like
meters
how
in
they
front
park
of
the
them,
bikes, you know.
Love
and
it.
you could still have how they park the bikes. That looks really cool.
Yep.
But then maybe they jump off and then they up the stairs, you know.
Yep.
Up the steps, and they're just up high for it. That's just something that I think.
Like at the Supercross, they've just got a little trailer that they take around. That'd be cool. Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other series, you know, like what the US guys, you know, it always looks all flashing at, but that's probably just a truck.
With a ramp on either end. Yep.
With a ramp and a backdrop and that, and a curtain down the front covering the wheels and all that. It's probably just a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the local series here, Rosebud Sandmasters, they've got the same. They've got a big trailer with a ramp up one side and a backdrop that stands up against the back with all the sponsors and stuff on it. And that looked brilliant. Like, that looked professional level. And it's exactly sort of what you're talking about. So, yeah, it wouldn't be too hard. It's it does definitely add an element, I think, of sort of prestige. I don't know.
Prestige, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree with that. Yep. Anything else?
Yeah. And I mean, we literally call it the podium, you know, getting on the podium.
Yeah.
Then that's actually means you're going up high, you're walking up something. So to get your trophy. The too many trackside banners, man. And honestly, I reckon I could claim to have this knowledge better than anybody, because I was at every event taking photos, and I don't have this year. I did not have track access.
Yes.
So I am around every inch of every track this year's perimeter where spectators. I've seen every spectator spot all year, multiple times a day. And there is a lot of spots where the spectator viewing is blocked by banners. And obviously there's a thing where I would like to take a photo there, but thinking broader than just my own little gripes about I can't take a photo there. Yeah, there's spots where it is blocked. So, you know, especially the outside of corners.
Yes.
You know, I know these people are advertising and that sort of thing, but there's other ways of doing it. You know, you can have signage strategically placed well off the track that's going to be in a great view of TV cameras and the like. It can be done. And yeah, so that, and then also added to that too, I never love, and I don't necessarily have a better option handy in my brain right now, but I don't love all them wooden stakes, man, on the outside of corners.
Yeah.
I don't love that. You know, especially like some high speed stuff and that. Like, I don't like all them wooden stakes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think if you want to limit that. I know it's super rare for anything to go wrong with one, but if
it does, it's potentially catastrophic. That's
potentially catastrophic. You know,
yeah.
The only time I can think, I remember RJ Hampshire got stabbed by a stake in the ribs there a couple of years ago at one of the American rounds. But yeah, that's one, and I know that you're on board with that because they mess with photography.
Mate, you got no argument on those last 2 points with the banners and the stakes at all. I think I've ranted about them on the show before. But
I probably have too. Yeah.
And when I look at like European or American racing, their banners are positioned, in my opinion, way better. Most of the time they're on the inside of the corner. They're
inside,
3 meters back, you know, from the track perimeter. So if a rider comes off, then there's still plenty of room on the inside there. But it also means that the outside of the corner is clear. So, you know, there's no obstructions from the banners in terms of visibility. And having them on the inside is typically like the riders don't punch off at 100 miles an hour off the inside.
Into the inside. Nah, that's right.
So
And
if you had
I
stakes
feel
on the
like-
inside, I don't think it's as anywhere near as big an issue. Like,
Nah, it's not. The inside's a totally different story. Yeah.
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 So anyway,
Do you think there's more? Do you think there was more this year? I know at some tracks there was more this year than previous, or maybe they're in different spots.
as much as the banners still ship me this year, I actually think that the banners were positioned better than last year.
Okay.
I found, like, trying to take photos this year, there was still a lot of spots that would have been amazing vantage points that were obscured by banners. But
Yeah.
I think it was better this year, and they did have a few more gaps in the banners this year to let us get photos.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding, I would love to, as a general rule, not have banners around the outside of corners full stop. So, I think that would be by far the best option. In terms of the number of banners, yeah, maybe there was more this year. I sort of wasn't paying too much attention to the total number of banners. For me, it's more just a case of, when you're trying to get the right angle and there's banners in the way.
Yeah. I'll bet the blokes that got to pack them all up and put them all out and pack them all up would be glad to have less.
Yeah.
That'd be for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, on that note, like, the amount of time spent from those guys running around fixing banners that have been punched through, and like, I saw it especially those last two rounds, trying to put stakes in and banners up and dodge bikes that are like railing around the outsides of corners, and these guys are jumping up on the back of the berm, jumping off, jumping up, jumping off, like trying to get a stake in and then fix a banner and cable tie it back up while there's bikes on the track. Again, that's pretty sketchy. And if the banners weren't in that particular spot, right on the edge of the fastest part of the corner, it wouldn't even be an issue. So I think there's a lot of benefits to be gained from maybe rethinking how all that gets done.
Yeah. And then, it's interesting to know, but it'd be a whole tangent, but how well the advertising on banners even works. Because when I'm watching a race, man, I could tell you the Aussie banners because, I've seen them walking around or whatever. But if I'm watching a race, if I'm watching an MXGP and I'm watching all the action, now at the end of it, you said, what did any of the track banners have written on them? I have no idea, man. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say, some popular brands and guess. I will have no idea what was on any of them. So, yeah, there you go.
Do you think that's more of a case, like, from the sponsors, though, just getting that kick and that affirmation that they're getting something done for them when they watch it on the telecast and they see their logo there? Do you think it goes? I don't know. Goes into the analytics?
It's an interesting. Like, I'm sure big companies, analyze all these things, and I find that stuff just interesting. About how that works. What the advertisers, what is their best bang for their buck,
Yep.
Whether it's, individual sponsorships, where they've got one of the people's favorite rider in their gear, or whether it's what sort of advertising really works for them. I would think it would be that, if you've got Cole Webster in your gear, if you've got Charlie Cannon in your gear, then bang, like, that's your value for money, because people are just seeing it all the time. Rather than just a sign. Like,
for sure.
Interesting stuff.
All right, 3 things that I think I'd like to see change for next year. I think the calendar, like I said, with the tighter schedule this year was better, but jumping back and forth between states, so going from Victoria to South Australia to New South Wales to back to Victoria to back to New South Wales, to Queensland to South Australia to Queensland, I think is unnecessarily complicated. It's unnecessarily expensive for teams and riders. And I think planning that better to have, even if there's 2 or 3 weeks in between the 2 Victorian rounds back to back, then it maybe goes to South Australia, then you have the 2 New South Wales rounds back to back, and then it goes to Queensland for 3 rounds. Like, I know there was a bit of talk around the Queensland rounds and then the Victorian rounds for the riders that came down, so vice versa. But it was
Mm.
like the travel costs, petrol, getting the bikes back there. Like it's costing these privateers $4,000 to go from Victoria to Queensland to do a race. Now,
Yeah.
if you've got the 3 Queensland rounds back to back, even if there's a break in between, the option is to leave, trailers, race bikes, all the stuff up there and just fly back, and you're down the cost of a flight. It's literally going to save these riders thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So, I think there's almost an obligation for a series where there isn't massive prize money. Most of these riders, for the most part, all of these riders, bar a couple of factory guys, are paying to go to the races. I think there is an obligation almost to try to make it as efficient and affordable and well planned logistically as possible. So that is something that I would like to see, and obviously there's challenges there fitting it in with state events and weekends and public holidays and school holidays and all that other stuff. It's definitely not easy, but I think it can be done. All the state events tend to not be finalised until the ProMX schedule comes out anyway, because ProMX gets priority.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I know that's what happens here in Victoria. The state championship can't set their dates until the ProMX is done. And, after the state events have got their schedule in, then the local and regional events can actually plan and book their permits. So there's nothing really stopping that national schedule that I know of, other than maybe a handful of international stuff and like I said, some things that are happening around the country. But I would like to see that planned out a little bit better. And even if you had, the Victorian weekends back to back and then had a 2-week break or a 3-week break. So the start to finish is the same, but it's in bite-sized chunks from state to state. So even if there's the option to stay in that state and ride and practice and not fly home for some, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that would be better. So that would be cool. The last round, I tend to agree with you, sort of. I've gone back and forth on that too. I love QMP. I love the track. I think it's scenic. I love the racing there. But the internet problems, I agree with. For me, I don't mind. I'm not going to the after party, so I don't really that part. I'll leave that to the young people, and they will end up on the Gold Coast anyway. So, and it's an hour and a half away, which is a lot, but they all end up there, so that they find a way if they want to party. I wouldn't mind keeping it at QMP if they could sort the internet connectivity problems. I think a bloody Telstra tower out there somewhere would solve all the problems. Like not just on the promoters, but think about the poor suckers that live out that way, and there's a lot of them. It's not a tiny little backwards town.
Yeah.
So but that if you can't fix that, maybe we need to look at having a different place and club and track host the last round. And this sort of goes hand in hand with what I said about riders getting paid or prize money in the championship. I think it would really be cool, for Supercross. Now we're getting international riders coming over to race our domestic series. I would love to see, and I'm not talking about, your Eli Tomac or anything like that, but it would be cool to get our domestic series to a point where there is some prize money.
Yeah.
And some incentive for, your 10 to 30 guys from, say, America, a handful of them to come over and race our series, or maybe some of the Canadians come over and race, or the we get quite a few New Zealanders, but some of the bigger guys come over and race. And I think, the championship now is prestigious enough. Like I said before, we've got the tracks. It's on TV. It's very cool. I don't know whether that means more sponsors, less profit, shuffling where the money goes around. I don't know what the solution is to how to make that happen. But funneling some of that cash or getting more cash and putting that into some prize money, some decent prize money. And that may not be a, from this year to next year solution, but maybe a 3-year plan or a 4-year plan. But that's something I would like to see. I think that would be cool to take our domestic ProMX championship to the next level.
Yeah.
So, anyway, some food for thought.
Yeah, it certainly would be cool, and it all comes down to the coin, doesn't it? Like, I don't know enough about how that. I don't know enough about that side of the sport to sort of blow my trumpet about that. But yeah, other than to say that it would be really cool, man.
Yeah, and
I
that's
love
all I'm
this.
sort of saying is, like, that's what I don't care what position we're in now or how it's
Yeah.
working right now, but that's what we should be aiming towards.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So
I agree. Yeah,
no
I
criticism on
agree
how it's
with
been
that.
run now, but that's the next step. If I was in charge and we were setting our goals for doing a 3-year business plan, that would be my
Yeah,
plan. Is all right. It wouldn't be how much money can we make out of this. It's like, how can we make this event bigger and better in the long run.
yeah. Long game, the long game, Pete.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. It's these aren't amateur riders. It's a professional level event, and it's even if it starts small, but starting to funnel some money back into the riders that compete. They're the stars of the show.
They are the stars of the show, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And there's not a lot of them in the Pro MX paddock that are making a good living.
I would say
Not a
none,
lot of them.
except the ones that are getting paid by the teams.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. But even still, like there's only there's a handful really that are killing it. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep, for sure. Speaking of riders that are killing it, I guess we'll move into our next topic for this episode. We had some Australian riders over in the US for the last 3 rounds, which was very cool to see. So Cole Webster, it was pretty much our 4 Pete riders from Honda Australia, went over to race the last few rounds of the AMA Nationals, and obviously Charlie Cannon had done the first 3 as well in the WMX over there.
yep.
But yeah, Cole Webster went over, Brodie Connolly, Kate Kingsford, and Charlie Cannon. So to start off, what were your thoughts on how they went and that as a thing?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Loved it. Just loved it. Thought it was so cool to have the whole team going over and that sort of thing. And, I know some of the mechanics went and the whole show, so I thought that was really cool. The heat at Ironman knocked them all around,
Yep.
which they've said it really, they come out of Melbourne winter into into just a filthy hot Ironman, hot, humid, and that sort of thing. It really knocked them around, all of them that first weekend.
Well, on that note, like, we know what a savage Cole Webster is. He's raced injured. He's raced with fractures in his spine and broken wrists and, 2 ankles that don't work. And he bailed on the second moto because of the heat.
Yeah.
So it
and
must
you
have
could
been
see
bad.
you could see Brodie just drop off.
Yep. What did he say?
But,
What did he call himself? A soggy noodle? I think that's what he said.
And I just you can't prepare for that.
Yep.
You can't prepare for it. So that's just is what it is. You literally fly out of Melbourne winter, bang, like it's no preparation. So the first round was a little bit off. Unfortunately for Cade, that was his only one, so he didn't get a chance to sort of redeem himself.
Yep.
But the next couple of rounds, man, like Kyle was very impressive. Brodie was sort of up and down. He had some flashes of wow, look at this. And then some races didn't go as good, incidents, little mistakes, lots of bits and pieces. But Kyle was really solid, very impressive. And Charlie was super impressive, which we expected. It was really cool to see her take a couple of wins off Lala and some really good couple of battles there. If Charlie had maybe just had a bit more luck, bit better starts, that sort of thing, she still wouldn't have closed the points gap. But still wouldn't have closed the points gap. But it was cool, yeah. So that was really good, man. So
no, I totally agree. Did they perform to the level, results-wise, that you would have expected? Or do you think there's more in the tank, with if they were to go back again and do it all over again?
I think they all could do a little better. No, well, I think Charlie and Cole could do a little bit better.
Charlie could win. I think she's got the capacity to win. Yep.
Yeah. I think Charlie can win. I think Kyle can top 5 if everything was going well, prepared, actually prepared for that series. And I think Brodie could do heaps better than he did.
Yes.
I think he could do heaps better. I said he was hit and miss, and there was different things that went on. And there was a couple of times there where he was running up a long way up and just looking really good, So whether the heat affected him a little more or whatever, and I can't remember exactly. There was, he did have a few little incidents and stuff as well. So, but I think Brodie in particular we know he can do way better than that. So
Did he maybe get distracted by the American girls?
Oh, do you know something that I don't know?
Oh no, his last post, he's got, looks like, made some friends.
Did he make some friends?
Or a friend? Yeah.
Maybe he was distracted, man. So I don't know. Love does funny things to us, to young men. So you never know, man.
Yeah.
But he's probably the one. Yeah, we know he could do heaps better than that, and sometimes things just don't work out as they should. But like I remember, I think it was. I'm just trying to think. I think it was at Unadilla. At one stage, he was running like 5th or something for a while, and I was like, "Here we go. This is what we expect," And then, I can't. I think he made a little mistake, and then he got a bit fatigued. I think maybe the heat was maybe affecting him a little bit more than maybe the others, because he did suffer a little bit towards the end of motos. But anyway, in the end, it's just
experience.
It was just for experience, wasn't it? So
no, for sure. I thought like Webster's. I think he went 8-9 at Unadilla. That was impressive.
Still very impressive. But he can do even better than that.
I agree. Yeah. I'd put him in around the top 5. 5, 6. Yep. On a good day, no worries.
I reckon he could be right behind that sort of pack of the pack that's just behind Jet.
Yep.
He could be right behind that pack.
Yes, and even in amongst them with a good start.
Off the start, yeah.
No, for sure. It's always good to see how the Aussies stack up against an international field or a US field. But one thing I think that I took away from that, like we've seen it time and time again when, top European riders go to the States and struggle a little bit. And then, we see the likes of Webster and Connolly and Charlie, I think is a slightly different animal there, because I think she is easily competitive with the best women over there and can battle for wins. But, with Webster and Connolly, I think they didn't quite perform to their potential, and we've seen it with European riders going over. The American, the schedule, the format, the tracks, the races, I think it is slightly different, and it often gets underestimated, the impact that can have. Like, obviously, Prado's the extreme, but you've got a 2-time world champion going over there, and I think we finished 6th in the championship, and people are losing their minds over that at the moment. And it's like, yes, he didn't ride to his potential, but it's not the first time that we've seen it.
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever seen it as bad as Prado.
Yeah, that's what I said, is the extreme.
It's the extreme, yeah. That's been just shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it, like it's very rare for someone to go to a different series and just crush it, Jeffrey Hurlings did it once. You go way back, and there is, way back, and there's times where US riders went to Europe and crushed it and things like that. But it is, an unusual thing, So,
yo, we hope you're enjoying the show. Here at Mental4Moto, we can only do what we do because of the sponsors who support us. So please stay tuned for a couple of brief ads and make sure you show these legends some love. Are you getting arm pump? Fatiguing after just a few laps? Or feel like you're often fighting against your bike? Today's motorcycles have been designed and built to suit a broad range of riders, conditions and riding styles. This one-size-fits-all approach, however, means that when it comes to your own riding, your bike is often not handling and performing at its very best. Whether you're a weekend warrior or an elite-level racer, Fastline suspension will help you unlock your riding potential by ensuring your bike is set up perfectly for your specific needs. And with the right setup, you're guaranteed to go faster, fatigue less, and ultimately have more fun riding your motorcycle. So what are you waiting for? Contact Adam at Fastline Suspension now. Fastline Suspension, set up for maximum performance, precision tuned for you. Whether you're out on the road, playing in the dirt, or on the water, Wonthaggi Motorcycles and Power Equipment have got you covered with their great range of motorcycles, marine, and outdoor power equipment. Servicing South Gippsland for over 25 years, their friendly and knowledgeable staff pride themselves on being able to deliver the highest level of service. Stocking a full range of Kawasaki and Honda off-road, dirt and adventure motorcycles, kids bikes, ATVs, riding gear, consumables and hard parts, Wonthaggi Motorcycles and Power Equipment are your one-stop shop when it comes to having fun. The warmer months are nearly here, and there's nothing more refreshing after a day at the track when you're sweaty, grimy and exhausted than taking a dip in the pool. Southeast Pools specialise in building high-quality fiberglass and concrete swimming pools across the Peninsula and Gippsland region and offer a range of designs to suit every lifestyle, yard size and budget. So pick up that phone, give Trav at Southeast Pools a call today and be ready to take the plunge this summer. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, moving from that, Motocross of Nations. So that's October 3 to 5, so it's coming up very, very quickly. It's, just under 3 weeks. Tomac, Deegan, Sexton. It's a pretty damn strong team for USA.
Yeah, very strong, yeah.
Team Australia, same as last year. The Lawrence brothers and Kyle Webster, who's, I think, staying over in the US or has stayed over in the US to prepare on American soil. Are we going to see one of those two teams win?
Yes.
Who is it going to be? And can one of the European teams get in amongst them as well?
Okay, US or us will win. One of those two. I would be very surprised if it's anyone else. And I've put a lot of thought into it, man. My heart, well, you know where my heart is. My head's a little worried. My head's worried. Yeah. I've done calculations and everything, man. Like it really, really, like I know we said it last year, but this year a lot rests with Kyle.
Yes.
He's the difference. It's all about how well Kyle does. It really is, because like I've done sums and calculations that, like, what's Jet going to do? That's easy. And then, but if you think about it, like the difference between Hunter and Eli and Chase on American soil,
same.
They're all going to be similar. They're going to swap around seconds and thirds and fourths and fifths at worst and that sort of thing. I mean, any rider can shit the bed and have a bad race and crash or whatever, crashing at the start. Things happen, but outside, and you can't predict that. But so if you're just factoring in form lines, they're all kind of the same. And we know that Deegan is going to be right at the pointy end, if not winning, like very, very likely winning the 250 class. And wherever that puts him overall, that's, it's going to put him up, pretty. I can see on his 250, I can see him running top 10 easily, no problems at all at that track, that sort of thing. It's going to be very comfortable, and he's very good. I could honestly see him I could see Deegan doing like 6 and 7s and crazy stuff like that.
So Kyle's on the 250.
Yeah. Well, I haven't actually heard any confirmation, but we're all just assuming that Kyle's on the 250. Yeah, and it all just depends what Kyle can do.
Yep.
Kyle's whatever Kyle is behind Deegan needs to be offset by how well Jet and Hunter go. That's the thing. Like, it's when you crunch the numbers, it doesn't look great for us.
So a few years ago, when it was in America, everyone was saying Team America, and they got flogged.
That was 2 times back. Yeah, they won last time in America, but they won in 22 when they won in 22, but in 18, I think it was 18, they did shit house. Yeah.
So no chance of that happening again.
No,
No.
and that was so many things went wrong that week.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
disaster.
I'm just playing a bit of devil's advocate here.
Yeah, so you don't know. That I think that's the story of it.
Yep.
Anything can happen. I think one of the good things in our favour is that our three guys reliable, solid.
Week in, week out.
They're pretty solid week in, week out. Do your job, like especially the brothers, and Kyle is especially of late he's more so. He's had his years where he's been a bit of a grenade at times, in our series. But I think that's a different mindset when you're in the nations too, where you're not just all out for the win for yourself. It's you're doing a job for your country, and there's chances of Eli's super solid, so he's a rock, but
he has his bad days too.
Yeah, he can have Eli can have his bad days form wise, but as far as crashing and things like that, that's very unlikely. But Chase hitting the ground is almost likely, so at some stage of the weekend, so that can play in your favour. Deegan's pretty solid, really. Like
I think so. As much as it pains me to say it,
I know how much you like him. There's no chinks in that kid's armour when he's got his helmet on. So when he's got his helmet on, man, he's amazing. When he's got his helmet off and he's talking, it's a little bit different. But
yeah, as a side note on this, which I'm going to be really excited to see. I love watching some of the internet banter about how Deegan's going to go when he steps up to the 450 class. Personally, I think he's going to be humbled, and I'm really going to enjoy seeing him get humbled when he steps up to the 450 class. But this will be our first sort of taste of it too.
It will, yeah.
To see how he stacks up against, some of the fastest 450 riders in the world. So, I think it would be equally cool if he was up in the mix, and it would create some really awesome talking points.
Cool. Yeah.
But I'll be watching that. That's going to be sort of a bit of a sideshow on this that is definitely going to generate some discussion, no matter how it goes.
Well, I'm very excited to see Deegan in the 450 class. Just to see, I'm disappointed that it's for motocross next year, not for Soupy. But you never know; that could change. It wouldn't surprise me if it changed. I can't wait to see. There's a few things, two that I'm just sure of, and one that I'm pretty sure of and really hopeful of. The first two is I can't wait for his first run in with Barsha. I can't wait for his first run in with Anderson. It's like, Brick, where's the popcorn? Like, let's go. Like that is just so exciting. I've got a grin from ear to ear talking about it.
Yeah.
Because they ain't going to take any of his shit.
They're going to make a point of not taking any shit.
Oh, yeah. No, especially Anderson, he's just going to be like,
yeah.
And then the other thing is I'm really, really hope that Jet just whoops up on him.
That would be cool.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'd like to see Jet just demoralize him, to be honest. That'd be fantastic. And I don't hate Deegan like, as much as you,
I don't hate him.
I'm a huge fan of his. Like, it's like, whatever, but it's more the, I love watching him ride and all that sort of thing.
Same. Yep.
Some of the off track stuff and that, like he's not my kind of guy. I guess is how you put the point. And I was never a fan of his dad's. So, I was a Pastrana fan, and you couldn't be a Deegan and a Pastrana fan. So I suppose that I'd like to see that smugness just get fucking
a humbling experience. Yep.
Nice. I'd like to see him humbled.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, for sure. All right, we'll move on. Supercross, the Australian calendar is now finalised. The venues are now finalised. There was a few sort of last-minute changes, which I thought was funny because one of the events changed dates quite significantly, and that seems to have just sort of been swept under the carpet with the new announcement, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, nothing happening here.
Yep. So, but beyond that, I'm getting super excited for Aussie Supercross. On the event and location side of things, it's kind of got me very confused. I don't know how it goes, and I've obviously never booked out Rod Laver Arena or the Cronulla Stadium or anything like that for anything for myself. But it's got me very confused how these things can't be finalised 6 months in advance, 8 months in advance. It always seems to be very last minute. And again, I have no idea, what juggling act that is and what sort of challenges. But you'd think that, events calendars are usually, in the broadest sense, like of all the sports and all the concerts and everything that happens, they're usually sort of planned quite a long way out. So, with our Australian Supercross, I always find it a little bit funny that nothing is finalised until sort of 6 weeks out. But anyway, all good. I'm stoked that it is, and I think we've got a really good Supercross Championship ahead of us. A few different venues, few of the same venues that worked. Is it going to be better than last year? I think from the way that it's been planned out, I think there's the potential that it's going to be better again. I thought last year was sick. Splitting AusX and the championship finale, we were sort of advocating for that at the end of the championship last year, and I think that's going to be a very big positive change. But beyond that, what are your sort of initial thoughts on the calendar, the announcement, the venues, and we'll get into the riders as a bit of a secondary thing.
I like the separation of the open to the final round.
Yep.
That's good.
We can celebrate both.
Year.
Yep.
Felt pretty bad last year for championship winners that were kind of secondary.
Yep.
To the homecoming of the boys and all that. So I think that's good. Obviously, we know what we've got with Marvel. I don't know much about the rugby league stadiums we're going to, but from what I've seen, they work really well.
Yep.
For Soupy. They work great. So I just expect it to be really good. So yeah, that's cool. I'm not sold on Adelaide, man. I'm really not sold on Adelaide.
Really?
I will be happy to be proven wrong, but I'm not sold on Adelaide. I don't like the feeling that we're a sideshow to the supercars. I can't sort of get me head past that.
Yes. Yep.
But we'll see, and it also kind of makes, like, if it, there was a time in my life where I was big into supercars, but like I couldn't name 4 drivers, and I have no interest in it whatsoever. All it will be to me is an annoyance to get to watch the Moto, to have all this other crowd there and other people parking and accommodation problems and all that sort of thing. It's just going to be an annoyance for me. And honestly, I think a lot of hardcore Moto fans are probably the same as that. Yeah, this is kind of cool, but like I'm here to watch Supercross.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong there, but yeah, I don't care about any of that sort of stuff. I'm just all in on dirt bikes, So there's that, and then last year, I know they've got a bit more space this year, or I don't know. I've heard they've got a bit more space this year, which is good. Should make for a better track, and the crowd. It's hard to judge that crowd. Was that crowd actually like really good, grow the sport moto crowd, or was that just V8 Supercars fans that were just, we're already here kind of thing, who we don't even know what they're watching and aren't that interested. And it is, I can see a lot of V8 Supercar fans looking at it just like they would look at a freestyle show.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can interject here. I understand what you're saying. I actually loved Adelaide. I didn't mind the track. I thought it produced great racing. I know a lot of the riders didn't love it. I think the format can be improved in terms of, I think it was pretty bad not having some of the MX1 guys on track, either in a B final or, a last chance qualifier. All that schmozzle aside, I mean, we spoke about that on the podcast last year. But for me, I really liked Adelaide. I'm the same as you. I have no interest in the supercars, but having it as a joint event still created a buzz. It was a different atmosphere. But your point about the crowd, I was actually skeptical about, like what you said. I thought it was going to be, supercars fans going over and treating it like a bit of a sideshow, and it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. But every time there was bikes on track, there was it was packed around the track. The stand was full, the standing room was full, and what I saw in the crowd was there was a lot of dads with a lot of kids, families, but for the most part, a lot of kids. And when you think about, families that are motorsport fans in general, even if they're at that stage only supercars fans and this is new to them, I think supercross and dirt bikes are a lot more accessible to families, that have an interest in motorsport and maybe are on that fence or as a prospect to get into motorsport in participation. So, obviously I'm only speculating, but I think there may have been some new fans generated through that event.
May have been some mini bikes sold, you reckon, Pete?
Yeah. Yep. So, I tend to sort of disagree. I thought that the Adelaide thing was great. There was things that needed to be improved, and I had gripes about other stuff, like it was actually tough to get into the event. We had to initially pick up our tickets from inside the fence, but you couldn't get inside the fence without your ticket. So the first day that was a bit of a struggle and running around, and then they moved where we had to pick the tickets up from. But, the security there has to be tight because it is a massive event. I was not expecting how big it was. There's live bands and the crowds are huge, and there's a million other vendors and a million other things going on. And for me, it was really cool. I'm not disappointed that it's back there again. I think it's a great thing to have the track a little bit better. If it was the same track as last year, to be honest, I'd be like, sweet.
Yeah.
Because I'm not out there racing, provided that they just change the race format a little bit so that a rider that has a bad qualifying or a bad heat doesn't miss out. That's I think that was sort of a bit of a mix-up last year. And I'd like to see, I guess, the riders have a little bit more track time, which, again, is hard when the track is small like it was because the track gets so beaten up because they're doing more laps. So with a slightly longer track, bring it on. I'm all about it. I'm looking forward to that one. And like you said, having Adelaide and the AusX Open separate, that's a win-win.
Yeah, that is for sure. So, interesting, Pete.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. I might change my mind.
I hope so.
Once I see it.
Yeah.
So
it might work the other way. We might come out of this year and I'm going, no, that was terrible, and you go, that was sick. So
that's it.
Your sentiments about being a moto fan and just wanting to see moto and being in a stadium, that's what I love about Supercross. That's why Supercross is my favorite time of the year. I love being in the stadium. I love the feeling, it's just visceral. You can feel the revs of the bikes, the music's pumping, the racing's right in front of you. It's just, and it's always close.
Do you like that? Do you like cities, Pete?
No, I hate cities.
You do, yeah, because I can't stress enough how much I hate cities.
Yeah,
so I tend to I love the motocross much more than the supercross in general. So because I like the fact that we're out in the bush, but there's this awesome race going on. That's me. That's just a core sort of thing with me. I'll only travel into the city for to watch something that I really want to watch, like so, and I'll put up with the city to do that. So
Yeah. See,
yeah,
I don't like concerts. I don't like crowds, but there's
yeah,
something about Supercross that makes me feel like a little kid again. Like that,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
just that unbridled excitement, like it's,
yeah.
I feel like, when you look at those little kids and they're like shaking,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's how
yeah.
I
That's
feel. Like I
fair
just,
dinkum, yeah,
oh man, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
why, like especially Rod Laver, when you're down on the track perimeter and you're
yeah.
shooting, it's like when that's happening and the crowd's cheering and the bikes are on the track, I feel like the luckiest guy on earth, like that I get to be there and capture the action.
Yeah.
And man, it's just like, seriously, I I'm smiling from ear to ear, even
I
if
can
it's
hear
just
it
on
in
the
your
inside.
voice,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice.
mate,
Yeah,
I love it. Like, love it. It's
yeah,
yeah, for me, that's just the biggest buzz in the world. Obviously, if I had the skills, I'd be out on the track, but I'm too old and I'm too shit. But being down on the floor, it's the next best thing. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think Cronulla's going to be good. I missed Redcliffe last year because obviously, we had some health stuff going on at home.
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting up to there this year. I've heard the ticket sales are a bit low because of the WSX being there sort of a few weeks later.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully that's not the case or that's improved. But
yeah,
I mean, I think it's a scumbag move by WSX because of those personal conflicts. I can't even remember the guy's name, but it doesn't really matter. That runs WSX. He did that podcast interview where he's obviously got a bee in his bonnet with Adam Bailey, and I
yeah,
think he was looking to create some conflicting dates and go head to head, which for me, that's a businessman's perspective. That's a personal perspective. I think it's shit for the sport,
yeah. It is. It's shit. Yeah.
and it's shit for Australian Supercross.
Mm.
And I loved World Supercross, and that makes me want to boycott it. Like, it's just,
Put a bad taste in your mouth.
yeah, yep.
Yeah,
It's like to do that to a domestic series. They should be going to countries and trying to build up the sport. That's
yeah,
what World Supercross should be doing.
yeah,
And then to deliberately make an event clash with a domestic series, for me, is just unforgivable. Anyway, I won't dwell on that too much, but that for me was something that was really disappointing. Good luck to them. They've got a great event. They've got some big names
yeah.
in the World
Looks like a
Supercross.
great. Looks like a great event. Yeah,
They could have done things so much differently, held the same thing over in West Australia. That would have been better for Australia. Probably would have been better for them. It clashes now with the Adelaide round for us.
yeah.
I don't think it's
So,
going to be honest, I don't think it's going to take any shine off the Adelaide round. You might be down some
nah, it
TV
won't.
viewers, but
It's just some opportunities. It just takes away from some rider opportunities
yeah.
and team opportunities and things like that. So,
But for ticket sales, like you
nah,
obviously
it won't affect ticket sales.
not for Adelaide, but it will for the Queensland rounds because
For
people,
Redcliffe, yeah, I
yeah,
hadn't thought of that, Pete. I was just thinking about Adelaide. Yeah, that won't matter, but yeah, if you're a family, you're a Queensland family, and you're like, we'll go to the Super. Oh, geez, we can't afford to go to both. Oh, yeah, I want to go to the one that Eli's at.
exactly.
That's bang. There you go. That's where you're going. So it'll probably affect it quite a bit. Actually, thinking about it. So
Yeah, yep, and that's
yeah,
the bit that I'm dirty on. It's
yeah.
I think it's really put a
The
big
families, it'll take the families away because like the young blokes will go to both. Mad keen
yep
fans, young blokes now they'll go to both. But it's your family where mum and dad are paying for 3 kids to go. And
$400-500
buying 5 tickets.
night. Yeah, yep,
Yeah. They're not going to both.
yeah.
So
Anyway, it's I if I could advocate to anyone, I'd be saying support the domestic series because that's the one that does something for our sport in this country, for the riders in this country, and that's they're invested in the sport in Australia. As much as good luck to WSX and it's a great event, the end of the day, they're here to make money and move on. So they're not about building the sport in Australia. They're not about looking after Australian riders. If you can go to both, awesome. If you can only go to one, I'd be advocating for the Australian series. So that's just my 2 cents anyway.
Yeah, it seems the way the dates have been done, it seems like, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's been just done out of spite.
Yep.
Which is pretty shitty.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, AusX. We've got the Lawrences coming over. Cole Davies. That's going to be awesome. They've announced Juju Beaumer. So that's cool. Maybe he'll keep Cole Davies honest. I don't know. Cole looks pretty damn good over in the States. Julian's bloody good at Supercross, though, too.
Yeah.
There is talk that Deegan's coming over. Obviously, that hasn't been confirmed.
Really?
I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing it.
Okay, yeah.
I know there's a part of the stand that they're calling the danger zone. I don't know whether that's just a PR thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, anyway.
They're out there. But now there's a lot of Aussie kids that love him. So.
Oh, Matt, I mean, he's got
heaps of Aussie kids love him.
He's got a huge following. So, I mean, if he comes, it'd be...
No, it's honestly, if he comes, I'm mucking around, saying no and all that. If he comes, it'd actually be awesome.
Yep.
I'd love to see him ride. I'd love to see it all. I'd love to see him be the smartass as well. Like it's entertaining, man. So yeah, I really hope he comes. It'd be cool. Very cool.
So on top of that, we'll just have a quick chat about some of the teams. So because that's there's a little bit of moving and shaking for the teams.
There is, yeah.
Moss is now signed to Empire, which we spoke about off air. For me, that was a bit of a strange signing. He did super good back in 23 at Adelaide, was actually hunting down Dean Wilson.
Yeah.
And then obviously in round 2 at Newcastle, it all went very bad for him. And then since then, he's been on 3-4 different teams.
Yeah.
Be great to see him sort of get back to some really good form, but strange signing for me for Empire. I think there was probably potentially some other riders that, I don't know, may have been available.
Yeah.
Or enticable.
I think with Mossy, I knew you knew someone was going to pick him up. You can't not. It's a difficult one because of the seasons he's had recently. But like we spoke about off air, he can also just win.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he could just win it. You got to take a risk on him, even though he's had injuries and different issues over his especially his late career.
Yes.
But he could just win. So yeah, I can see why they're taking the chance. Yeah.
Interesting thing there is apparently one of the Australian rounds clashes with one of the, I think it's the Indian Supercross League, or maybe the Chinese series. It's one of those two that he's committed to.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid a lot of money over there. So
that's all right. Jake better get
Yeah.
Jake better get training enough to do a Chinese round then, hey? Send him over.
Yeah. it's probably appearance money. Mate. Yeah, yep. So that'll be I'm interested to see how that plays out. He'll be lining up next to Clout for Empire, which is cool. Cloudy, we've already spoken about him, on his day, one of the best Australian Supercross riders out there. So that'll be cool. And I imagine Reese Budd will be representing them for SX2. So, good, solid lineup for Empire. CDR Yamaha, Tanti's back. Obviously, Beaton is out for Supercross. As a bit of a side note, I've heard from a few different sources that he is looking to 2026 with a vengeance. So, and he's already, training really, really hard. He's got a rod in his femur at the moment, but he's already looking towards 2026. So, I think we'll probably see a bit of him around in the off season anyway at various things. But who's the second rider for CDR going to be? There was some talk that it might be Christian Craig, but he's obviously signed to Honda now, which was a big move for WSX, so not for the Australian series. There was a little bit of talk that maybe Justin Cooper, because of that link between CDR and Star, would be coming over to fill that seat. Dakar has said that he was trying to finalise negotiations with an international rider.
Mm.
I also heard maybe Cody Schock. Now, he's he's on a Yamaha, so that's, there's a bit of a link there. He's meant to be doing WSX, but he hasn't been on any of their PR stuff. So maybe Cody Schock. Have you heard anything about who the second CDR rider might be?
I've heard some little bits and pieces that are confidential, but nothing concrete. No, nothing concrete, man. Yeah, it's interesting though. With that Dakar put out that post that there is interested or whatever, in international rider signings.
Yes,
for Supercross, and there was a frenzy. After that, a frenzy of activity, and everyone's looking through all the American rider lists, seeing who might fit that and all that sort of thing. And Cody Schock was the one that jumped out to me for sure.
Yep.
Oh, Justin Cooper, be unbelievable, but Cody Schock was one that really jumped out to me when you just sort of look at Yamaha riders.
Yes.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, I'm really excited to see who that might be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at someone like Cody Schock, I can't imagine he'd be too expensive for a start. I think, our best rider, and we'll get to it in Australia, would be arguably the defending champion, Dean Wilson, who's going to be coming back to race for Honda, so he's confirmed. I think off recent form, Cody Schock is probably going to be a big handful for Dean Wilson, if not be faster than Dino. So
faster, I'd say.
Yeah, so
I'd have to go and look at some results and stuff because Dean did a couple of Supercrosses at the end for Honda.
But if you're talking about a title contender, which Yamaha has been lacking a little bit in recent years, Cody Schock could be a really good signing for them if he's available.
Absolutely, yeah. He'd be a title contender for sure.
Yeah. It hasn't been officially announced, but Brayton has said it or alluded to it on his podcast that he will be racing for Honda Australia. So I think the 450 lineup, they may end up with 20 bikes again under the tent, but the 450 lineup, Dean Wilson, Justin Brayton, very strong anyway for Honda Australia. Now, Willie Todd, 250. So he's going to be an SX2 class for Supercross with Larwood and Connolly. So I did hear with Connolly because I think the plan is for him to race Supercross in the US next year. That he will start off with World Supercross here in Australia for the Firepower team. And if it's going well, we'll stay there. And if it's, unless he's, I guess if he's not winning the championship or close to, he'll be racing our domestic series. So that's going to be, that'll be interesting to see where he ends up in the mix. Yeah. And, and that's the other thing I think with that clash between those events, that it's ruined a lot of these rivalries and because riders can't complete both series.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the way it's traditionally been. We've had a lot of riders that have done those too.
A lot of crossover and opportunities and so on that can't. That's not. Yeah.
Yep. The other signing for Honda that I had heard and then it went away and then it's come back was that A-Rod, Anthony Rodriguez, was going to come back and race for them. So he's raced in Australia previously, been racing recently. I think he's done a bit of Brazilian Supercross and Arena Cross over in the States and been doing really well. So he would be a good signing. And anyway. But I don't know. For me, there could be some more announcements coming from Honda. Yeah. I don't know. Something there doesn't seem quite finished for me.
Yeah. I'd say Uribe's got a couple of aces up his sleeve.
Yep. And I, for me, that Wilson Todd to SX2 probably reinforces the fact that maybe Connolly isn't going to be there for the whole season. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Yeah, Cole Thompson's not coming back to take out the whole team in one corner.
So,
No.
No. Yeah, I think those team dynamics did not go well. I think that's probably why they've kept Savachi and Dino separate as well. I think, just not as much friction under the tent this year. Yeah, as far as I understand, McElrath, Savachi and Craig are now all WSX. So I don't think we'll see any of those guys back for Honda in Australia for our championship. Yeah. And KTM. So we had got Croft and Dylan Walsh.
Yeah, Dylan Walsh. There you go.
So,
that one, I didn't see that coming.
Not at all. Not at all. So where do you think he's going to stack up?
It's a tricky one, man.
I agree.
I can't remember the last time I've watched him ride Supercross.
Yep.
I just think of like him, Canadian outdoors, riding outdoors. I can't even think of. I can't think of Supercross Dylan Walsh. I know that in Canada they're doing Supercross over there as well, but I don't. I really don't know.
Yep. Well, I think he's going to do pretty well. I did look up some of the results.
Yeah.
So I've just brought them back up. So Denver 2025 250 West, he come 12th.
Yep.
15th at Seattle, 12th at Arlington, 15th at Glendale.
Yeah.
So he's a I guess.
Now he's done a few US races.
10 to 15
I don't
guy.
recall him doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, all West Coast. That's going to be pretty solid over here, I think.
Yeah.
I guess it's 250 over there. And I'm assuming did they announce what class he's going to be racing here? I'd assume it's a 450.
Not sure.
Not
sure. I saw that. I saw the post. That post was just today, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or yesterday?
No, it's today, I think.
Just today, yeah. So, and I just sort of, I screenshot it, I think,
Yep, no, it is 450.
Like you do, but I haven't drilled down on it. So, 450, okay.
Yep, Fergo and Byron Dennis on the 250. So,
okay, yep.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a podium guy here for sure, I think, with those sorts of results. It's hard to tell because, 250 versus 450, it's just hard to predict, I guess, just how quick he's going to be against guys like even Cloudy, Dean Wilson, the guys that are veterans in the 450 class. Tanti back on a Yamaha, I think.
Yeah.
We can't sleep on.
For sure, yeah.
I think he's got the potential to go out and win races.
He does have, man. It's hard, we haven't forgotten about him, but it's just, it's been a while since we've seen him healthy.
Yeah, and if he goes out and starts, winning everything, I wouldn't be that surprised,
Yeah.
Put it this way, I won't be fainting, put it that way. It's, I'm not expecting it to happen, but there's the chance. So, I think that pretty much wraps up for me, all my thoughts so far. But did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I'll just be interested, man, to see. Well, I can't wait to see some entry lists and just see some of your, people that, some of these guys that come out of the woodwork to race Supercross, if they're doing that again this year. Like, I'm just trying to think who, there you get names pop up. Used to be Jackson Richardson, but I'm pretty sure he's properly retired now.
Yep.
That'd pop up. Is Wilsey going to do it?
Elijah Weezy on the Kawasaki.
Yeah, Weezy, Wilsey, these sort of guys. I know. Yeah. If they're going to go around again or not, it's just interesting to see who's going to have a crack at that. Yeah, Weezy, he's got the Kawasaki's now, so whether that's a sign that he's going to be going to do soupy, or whether that's just for his video edits and his stunt work. I don't know. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure I saw a post of his the other day saying he was getting back to the Supercross stuff. So
okay, oh well, cool. Yeah, that'll be
whether he does the whole series or select rounds, that might be still up in the air. But yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to this year. One thing that I was talking during this week with a few people that are invested in the Supercross. It seems to be this year the rumour mill has run for a lot longer
Okay,
with far less confirmations of who's going where and, who's doing what.
I'd say it seems like that for
Yep.
sure.
Because
Yeah, it does
realistically,
seem like that. It's not that long to go, and we're still, and there's still a lot we don't know.
Yep. Even who's racing for what teams. It's like CDR, arguably, equal with Honda, the biggest team in Australia, and we don't know who their second rider is, if they're going to have a second rider. So to have nothing announced officially, it's kind of odd. And even things like Brayton, where there's been no official announcement yet. Wilson Todd, SX2, nothing official yet.
Well, it's just thinking, when you said about Brayton, I'm thinking, he just mentioned on the show, and that a bit like, we got AC at Sydney. That's pretty cool, man.
That's awesome. I love
Isn't
AC,
that
man.
cool? Yeah. Now, last I heard or read about that, he said he was going to ride, but he didn't say race. So
correct. Yep.
Yeah. I'm thinking, are we getting like a couple of parade laps, or are we getting a fun thing?
Yeah, no, I read somewhere that he might be doing like a that one-on-one thing that Chad Reed did back in the day with
like
Ricky
a
Carmichael,
one-on-one with him versus
maybe Brayton. They're good mates.
or the top Aussie or whatever. Just there could be something.
Yeah,
but it's still cool, man. It's still, I love AC, so that's amazing. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. It's the only thing I'm disappointed about is that, from what I understand, it's not going to be for the whole season. It's just for the AusX Open. So I'd love to see AC over here for the series.
AC's just for Cronulla, just for Sydney.
Oh, Cronulla.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was AusX.
Nah, just for Sydney round.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah. That's still going to be good. Man, I can't. Yeah. He's been one of my favourite riders, ever since he swung a leg over a Supercross bike. So, and for me, very underutilised in the States as far as in the booth. I think he's one of the best analysts.
He's incredible. Yeah. He's incredible,
and media personality. So, massive asset, I think, to the, the crew for the Australian Championship. So that's going to be very cool. I'd love to see JT back again too. So he was very cool at Wollongong last year.
And it wouldn't surprise you to see him do a round.
Yep,
they might do that again.
Hopefully, yep.
Especially if they don't have Brayton
in the booth,
because Brayton's racing, so maybe we do get a few things like that. So,
no, for sure,
a few different people, will be cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've just gone over 2 hours, so I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have anything else?
Nah, we have. We've covered my whole page and a half, and plenty more. So it's all good.
Beautiful. I think we'll. I'll probably do a Supercross sort of preview show closer to the series, a week or two out as well. So I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about then. So
have some things finalised by then, Pete.
Hopefully. So and there'll probably still be a few things up in the air, if history tells us anything. So we'll see what happens. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. If you liked it, don't forget to give us a positive review on your preferred podcast platform. Make sure you subscribe to Mental4Moto and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the next show. We've got some great shows lined up. We've got some industry guests. We've got some Inside the Helmet with current Aussie riders. And like I said, we'll definitely have some Supercross preview shows and things like that coming up. So make sure you turn on your notifications. I'd like to say a massive thanks to you, Steve, for joining me again to co-host. It's always a blast, man, having you on the podcast.
Thanks, man. I love doing it. So any time, man.
I'll definitely hold you to that. Before we wrap it up, I just want to give one last shout out to our partners for this episode: Wonthaggi Motorcycles and Power Equipment, Fastline Suspension, Wolf Building Compliance, and the September sponsor of our motocross and supercross wall calendars, Southeast Pools. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. On behalf of Mental4Moto, I've been your host, Pete Wolf. Until next time, see ya.